Hi everyone, this is Dr. Ernesto, and in today's video I'm going to give you 3 tips on how to prepare one of the most nutritious superfoods available to humans, eggs. Now tip number 1, you want to make sure you start with the best eggs you can get, which are pasture raised or organic eggs. The reason why they're better is because when they're pasture raised, they have more room to roam around, so the chicken's not stressed. They're getting better food. The quality of the food affects the quality of the eggs, and that affects the nutrient density of the egg. When you eat industrial raised eggs, which are chickens that are confined and they eat like corn and low quality soy and stuff like that, they have half as much vitamin A, vitamin E, amino acids, and omega fatty acids. So even though organic eggs might cost about 50% more, they typically have about twice as much nutrients. So they end up being cheaper. And instead of eating like 8 eggs, you eat like 4. And you'll get the same amount of nutrients as 8 eggs if you're eating industrial eggs. So it ends up saving you a lot of money. The quality is better, so you can get more benefits. Tip number 2, how to prepare them. Well, you want to use iron frying pans. Now, iron frying pans are the go-to cooking pan. They've been around since around 200 AD. The Chinese are the first ones to use them. They've been around for almost 2,000 years. And they're the best, and they still are. The reason being is a lot of these fancy frying pans you buy with Teflon and all this other stuff release plastics, phthalates and BPA and all this kind of stuff that's toxic into your food. So you don't want to use that. For anything you cook, you want to use iron pans. Now, how long do these last? Forever. My mom has the same pans that her mom was using when she was a kid. She passed them on to her. So we've had them in the family at least 70 years. That's how long they last. They last forever. They don't break. They're solid metal. And they're heavy. So some people are like, oh, I don't like it. It's heavy. Yeah, but it's way better. And it releases trace amounts of iron into your food. And that's good. Sometimes the patients will look at it and say, hey, doc, there's rust on the side. That doesn't matter. That's just the metal reacting with the air. It's kind of like when you have a silver ring and it's kind of oxidized. It's reacting. The molecules are changing because of the oxygen. Now, that is going to cause some of it to flake off into your food, but again, it's such a small amount that you need iron in your body. It prevents anemia, but the amount is not even enough to get rid of anemia, but it is an added benefit of actually using iron pans, so that's nothing to worry about. So it's a better quality cooking pan for any type of food, and you don't have to worry about releasing anything toxic into your food. Now tip number 3, how to prepare it. Okay, so like with any protein, whether it's chicken, pork, beef, sausages, bacon, whatever you eat, eggs, you want to make sure that you're conscious of how you're cooking it. If you throw it in the barbecue, in the oven, or you fry it, that's going to cause the protein to denature. Now, animal proteins have very little benefits. It's mostly protein. If you're cooking it on the barbecue or you're frying it, you're going to destroy most of that protein. It's going to cause it to break down so you don't get as much. So let's say it has 40 grams, you might end up with 30 or 20 or 10 grams, depending on how much you cook it. Some people like things well done or medium rare. That's going to affect the quality of the protein. It also causes carcinogens to be propagated in the meat. Now, when you use water, that helps retain a lot of the benefits that protein has. That's why it's good if you're going to eat chicken or fish or something like that, to poach it or to make it in soups. That's going to be a lot more nutritious. You're going to get a lot more protein out of it. Same goes for eggs. You can hard-boiled eggs, and I don't eat eggs very often, but when I do eat hard-boiled eggs, I start getting tired of them, so I poach them. But you can see here, the water's boiling now in the pan, and I'm just going to get the egg, I'm going to crack it on the edge, and I'm just going to release it. The yolk and all, and you can see it cook up immediately into the egg. And see how it gets preserved? It doesn't really touch the bottom or the sides, it mostly just floats in the water. And it's kind of like you're boiling it, but it's called poaching, and that retains all the nutrients inside the egg. And after a few minutes, I'm going to use my wooden handle here to get it out. Again, you don't want to use plastic or anything like that. It's going to release chemicals into your food. Metal's okay. I prefer plastic. I prefer wooden or bamboo. That's going to be the best. See how the egg's just cooking through there? And when it looks like the yolk is about 50% cooked, I'll take the egg out and I'll eat it. Now you can cook it all the way through, but it's best if you leave it slightly raw. You'll get more amino acids. If you're trying to build muscle or you want to increase your brain power, you want amino acids. And this is one of the best ways to get it. And again, remember, 90% of the nutrients is in the yolk of the egg. So you want to try to preserve it. Keep it intact like that. Don't scramble it in the water. You don't want it to get cooked all the way through. You want to preserve those nutrients so you can get that nutrient density, get the most benefits out of it. So as you can see here, by cooking them in the water, I'm going to retain a lot of the nutrients. And the same goes for all types of meat. So it makes them a lot more nutritious and you're going to get a lot more benefit of them. So keep those three things in mind when you're cooking eggs. You can get the most benefit out of them. And if someone tells you, hey, well, you know, I'm worried about the cholesterol, this and that, like I tell my patients, hey, you're eating those Doritos, you're drinking that Coca-Cola, you're eating all this processed food, that's what's making your cholesterol go up and your blood sugar go up, not necessarily the eggs. Eggs are high in cholesterol, but they're not necessarily going to make your cholesterol go up. So you want to make sure you're eating healthy all the way around. And if you cook these properly, you're going to get a lot of benefits for your brain, for your skin, for your eyes, for everything. Those omega fatty acids, those amino acids are some of the best for building muscle. If I were to pick the top food to eat on the planet for building muscle, I would pick eggs. Eggs are very nutritious. If it weren't for eggs, I would be a vegan, but because of eggs, I'm an ovo vegetarian. So thank you for watching, and from Los Angeles, this is Dr. Ernesto. Thank you and goodbye.